What is going on, guys? Kramer here, back with another video, and in today's video we're going to be doing the part 2 of the Dead by Daylight killer tier list. And in this video we will most likely be going only over the tier B. Now, why is that? Well, that's because there's 8, and I say 8 killers in that tier. So let's dive right into it. The first killer we have in this tier is Billy. Now, Billy, why is he here? Well, he's got an insta chainsaw and an insta down with his chainsaw, and he can traverse the map pretty quickly. But what drops him so low? Well, over his recent add-on nerfs, and as well as the overheat mechanic being brought to the game, it really has put a stump to his overall pressure that he can apply with his chainsaw. But what is his perks? Enduring, Lightborn, and Tinkerer. Enduring and not Lightborn, that shit dog water. Enduring and Tinkerer are both really powerful perks that you're going to see pretty often with either very aggressive builds or gen regression heavy builds. So those are some things that bring Billy up to probably the top of A or B tier. But who else is in the B tier? Well, we would also have to say Bubba, also known as the Cannibal, because he likes that human meat. So what is the Bubba? Well, he also has an insta chainsaw, but it's not like Billy's. It's a sweeper chainsaw, and it doesn't instantly stop when you down one person. So you can snowball with it, or also known as the infamous, insidious basement Bubba. The scariest shit you ever fucking seen in your life. But anyways, why is it what truly shines with Bubba? Well, he is the best camper in the game, without a doubt. If you're getting camped by a Bubba, there is no way you're getting saved freely without at least someone else going down. So yeah, scary. What are his perks though? Bubba's perks is Knockout, Barbecue and Chili, and Franklin's Demise. Franklin's Demise, drop your item, pretty fucking annoying. Barbecue and Chili, blood point farming. What else do I have to say? That's truly his shine and gold and glory. But who else is in the B tier? Well, Freddy. And no, not Freddy Fazbear. He's not in the game. I mean Freddy Krueger, also known as the Nightmare, or the dude who touches kids with his little metal claw. So, what are his perks? Fire Up, Remember Me, and Blood Warden. The only one that's really worth talking about is Blood Warden. That's because it's the only one of his perks that you actually want to see ran once in a while. And what does that perk do? Well, basically, hook someone while the endgame collapse is happening, and a whole minute survivors can't exit, and you see auras inside the exit gates. But what is Freddy's true power? His true powers are setting little cum pools around the map that slow you down, or if you opt for the other option of having dream pallets that you can lob down but they won't do anything. Both of these are fairly weak, but what truly shines is he can teleport, and sometimes with certain add-ons you can increase what gens happen. But overall, his add-ons are pretty dog shit. Most of them only doing things when survivors are in the dream state. And even then, that's only for about a few seconds, because most of the time people run to get that shit out. So he's very mid, if I'm going to be honest with you. Who else? Ghostface. So, what brings him this low? Well, Ghostface, he has probably some of the best stealth in the game aside from Wraith. But very terrible cooldowns, and the fact that other than his stealth, he has no power, because once he's marked you, yeah, he can insta down you, but he doesn't have any benefits to him. Unlike other killers like Pig with her, her dash attack, or Wraith with his cloaking and uncloaking and speed boost, and Michael Myers with his added buffs that he will get throughout his tiers. But Ghostface, he doesn't get any of that. But what about his perks? Do they have anything that's worth talking about? What the fuck is that? I'm going to be straight up honest with you. I can't even read my own goddamn writing. Well, all I know is his perks are Throwing Tremors, Furtive Chase, and the other one, I'm All Ears. There we go. That's what it was. I couldn't read out that say. I don't know what I just said either, but that's what I thought I said. Anyways, all of his perks are actually pretty decent, except Furtive Chase. That one's just dog shit, so we're not even going to talk about it. But I'm All Ears, Fault Something, 6 seconds of order reading. That is actually pretty powerful depending on what killer you're using. So his perks aren't even that bad. And Throwing Tremors. Pick someone up, 16 seconds, all gens get blocked unless they're being currently actively worked on. And that's actually really nice for gen tracking and everything like that. So you know what gen to go to after you've hooked your first survivor, or any survivor after, if that means anything to you. But yeah, and his power marks someone, and then it's an individuality thing, unlike the Shape or Michael Myers, which we'll talk about in another video. Wink, wink. That should be a hint as what tier he is. And I would also really quickly like to mention that this is all only for base killers. We're not talking about add-ons at all. We're talking about the base killer, no add-ons, nothing. Because if we were talking about add-ons, this video would be a lot more complicated and longer than it needs to be. Anyways, who's up next? Well, we have the Demogorgon, and rest in peace. I won't talk about him because all of the newer players will not be able to access the Demogorgon, so personally to me, it is not worth my time to talk about him. Up next, the twins. Now, the twins. With that speedy motherfucker Victor, as good as it is, if survivors are playing properly and playing in twos, you're not going to get shit done. Sure, you'll get a downer maybe, but then they're going to kick the baby. And then next thing you know, you have to walk your fat ass all the way over to the down survivor. And by the time you get there, he's probably going to be picked up. And then you have to start that chase all over again. So, and also, they're very clunky to play. Sure, you can swap back and forth, but then there's also many bugs and exploits with them that just shouldn't be there. And so you really should wait. I personally think twins could be a lot better than they really are. Because switching back and forth between Charlotte and Victor, there's a big cooldown, and that is really... I've watched videos about him, and I personally get frustrated myself with how slow Charlotte feels once going back into her. And also on top of that, just how overall clunky it looks to play them. But what about their perks? Their perks are honestly not that bad. Hoarder, Oppression, and Coup de Grace. I can't speak the word. Anyways, Hoarder, get a notification when someone picks something up. Not that bad for certain killers. Oppression, kick 1 gen and 3 gens regress. That's a shitty cooldown though of 2 whole minutes. That is a lot. Lastly, Coup de Grace, get an extended lunge for each generator completed. It's alright, but you just don't get enough stacks to make it really worth your time. Up next, we have the Plague, or the Plague. And she's honestly not that bad, but it's just the fact that survivors basically can hoard her power by not cleansing at all. And that's truly her one big weakness. If survivors just decide not to cleanse and do generators instead, she really doesn't get her power for the whole game unless you bring certain add-ons, which I said we're not talking about. Not talking about those. You got that? Not talking about those. You. Right there. Talking to you. Anyways, the Plague. She's got really good perks though. She has probably the best perks in the game aside from the Hag. And what are her perks? Corrupt Intervention, Infectious Fright, and Dark Devotion. Now, Corrupt Intervention. That's probably one of the most popular perks in the game. 2 whole minutes of the 3 farthest generators from you that cannot be worked on. That is amazingly powerful. Why is that? Well, that's just because you can't get Genrush stuff to start. 4 survivors can't stack on a single generator and Genrush the shit out of it. So that's already powerful enough. So that's just protecting your early game, making it very easy for other killers that either need setup or prep time and just have a very slow start at the beginning, such as Trapper or Hag or Michael Myers. Now on top of that, Infectious Fright. Down someone and everyone within your terror radius screams. Very good on certain killers, like Myers for instance. Or killers that just snowball the fuck out of them, like Oni. And lastly, Dark Devotion. Hit your obsession, your terror radius goes with them. That's pretty decent, but then again, very situational in certain matches. Anyways, lastly, who is the 8th person in the B tier that I have placed? Well, to me, that person is the Trickster. Now, why did I put him here? And I would just like to say, well, he's a 4.4 killer, which is slower than the average killer, so it takes longer to catch up, and depending on the map, you're really fucked, okay? It's very hard to get knives in, and sometimes if survivors are playing properly, you won't be getting any knives in anytime. And because you're 4.4, And on top of that, you have a lullaby. Now, many people don't know this, but the Trickster actually has a lullaby just like the Huntress. That is super stupid. Why does he have a why does he have a lullaby of all people? It just doesn't make sense. That like screeching sound you hear when he's closing in on you, yeah, that's his lullaby. Weirdly enough. But on top of that, just without add-ons, he really does not have anything that works in his favor on certain maps, and good survivors will play against that amazingly. But what are his perks? His perks are Starstruck, Hex Crowd Control, and No Way Out. Now, Starstruck, a very good perk on really any M1 killer, because pick someone up, everyone in your terror radius is exposed for a certain amount of time. That's pretty nice. And Hex Crowd Control. That perk is very annoying, actually. If you've ever played against it and you've seen that, you can't play anything. You really can't. If they're playing it with Hex Blood Favor, you really won't be able to play shit. You get hit once, you vault that window, and then you're kind of stuck in there. You don't have any option to go anywhere else. So that's actually pretty powerful, just assuming the totem stays up. But if you've ever played killer once in your life and ran a Hex Totem, you know that shit ain't staying. Anyways, what is this last perk? No Way Out. Just like Barbecue and Chili, it works in stacks. 4 stacks for each survivor you've hooked, or 1 stack per survivor hooked, and you will get up to a maximum of 4. And each of those stacks is another additional amount of time that the exit gates will take to open. Now, this perk is actually a lot more powerful than you would think. Oh, what is all this time going to be? That's a whole minute. Or, no, it blocks the exit gates. You can't even open them. So that's, if you get 4 stacks, that's a whole minute that they can't be opening the gates. And that is very powerful. And it gives you a notification and everything, so you know exactly where to go. And on endgame perk or endgame builds, like, let's say No Way Out, Blood Warden, Noed, that shit's going to be really scary for the survivors. But that's all I have to say, and on top of that, I've been missing out on this. I have to give a shout out to the boys who've got me back into making videos, and that being Pudgy Woke 2491, and yeah, it's 5 inches, also known as Elias Kuhn. Love you, shotties.